Today, again in the Sahel, we have issues of kamikaze drone getting jammed, knocked down from left to right. The FPV drone has become so washed in the Sahel, getting shot down from time to time. Around last week, we had about 7 FPV drones that were knocked down. And right now in Mali, in the region of Agel, just today, a kamikaze drone just got knocked down. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it can be jammed. I don't know because that is the kamikaze drone right there in the dust. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just to show that, there's a difference between the terrain and the geography of Africa, most especially the Sahel, and maybe Kursk or whatever region they are proved most effective in Europe. The reason is because I think Sahel has a lot of space. Like there's a great amount of open terrain, and when the drones show up, the troops are just going to spot it real quick. And I don't know why it has not been effective, but ladies and gentlemen, the Azawadians continue to try their luck, and so far so good. These drones just continue to get taken apart. So we have fresh news that the president of Benin has now invited the president of Burkina Faso and the president of Niger to the National Day in Benin. And he has equally said that he will be very, very excited to see them in their military parade. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you feel about this news? Do you feel it's safe for the AES president to go to the military parade in Benin? We don't really have too much information about what side of the streets Benin is on. A lot of people are saying that Benin is a very nice neighbor, and the presidents of the AES can grace the occasion, and the people of Benin will be very, very excited to see the AES president. And these people just stand as a beacon of revolution in Africa. And but in my own opinion, I think Benin Republic is still, very, very close in close alliance with France, and I think I can't really trust that type of journey. I just think these presidents have to be careful, knowing that they don't really have too many friends. And I don't know why African leaders are just like that. You can't trust African leaders. The president alone might be a good guy, but as long as you're still eating from the same basin with the president of France, whatever the case may be, no matter what you come out for or you come out to turn out to, you can't just be trusted. You have to maintain your side of the street. If you are with the president of France, stay right there, and you can travel to Paris to go and do whatever you do. But inviting presidents that represent millions of people all around the world is just something that is very, very intolerable. But let's see how the presidents of the AES take this gesture. I don't know why he has not invited the president of Mali, because from the information we have, he has only invited the president of Burkina Faso and the president of Niger. I don't know what diplomatic relationship they have. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the information right there. How do you feel about it? Along the Fafa region of Mali, the farmers carried out a special military operation where the EIG terrorist sect actually suffered a very, very devastating loss. I mean, the casualties were much, according to the information we had. And in that operation, another terrorist leader in the name Abdullah Musa Diallo actually surrendered again, and he surrendered with some of his comrades. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will drop on our Telegram two of his lieutenants that were very, very close to him, according to the information we have, that work effortlessly with him to cause a lot of chaos. They've been neutralized. We'll drop their image in our Telegram channel, and they've now surrendered. A lot of people are saying the EIG is just a weak terrorist set. Do you think it's a sign of weakness that they're surrendering, or do you think it's just a dangerous situation for them where they have no other option than to surrender? And a lot of people are saying that Malians are not giving these guys the opportunity of a second chance, that they continue to neutralize them. They said it's different from the situation in countries like Nigeria, where terrorists are being, given a second chance when they surrender. A lot of people continue to say that they are even surprised that, the terrorists get to make it to a point of surrender. They said because based on the mode of operation of the Malians, they leave those people to no chance at all. You can see that some guys have been arrested in Burkina Faso. These are actually Burkina Faso citizens that have chosen to, take the wrong side of the street. You have them in every society, the thugs, the bad guys. Yeah, they've just been arrested in Burkina Faso for committing different crimes, kidnapping, rape, and all of those things. They've been arrested, and I know that the consequence will not be funny. The thing is, I don't know how those guys still feel like you can be a bad guy in a country like Burkina Faso. This Burkina Faso should be one of the most civil, and law-abiding country right now, because this is a military regime. You can't misbehave in a military regime. You can't misbehave. And that is one thing that we so much miss in our country, where there's so much lawlessness and all of that, where you even have the Islamic State terrorists distributing food items to civilians. That's ISWAP in Nigeria. You have Islamic State terrorists distributing food to civilians, giving drugs to the civilian. And according to the information we are even hearing, we hear that they might soon be thinking about having a parallel government in the north. But in the AES, the reverse is the case, because even though they love the citizens, you definitely know that they are not going to take any type of nonsense from anybody. And that's a good thing right there. It's good for the citizens to feel safer and to walk, without looking at the back of their head, expecting that somebody might just walk upon them and, do something very crazy. Now we are receiving reports that the Togolese were the country that actually collaborated with the AES to disclose the information about the shipment. They were the ones that disclosed the information to the AES president about the large Azawadian, shipments that just entered the country. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, no matter what anybody wants to say about the Togolese government, we've seen recently that they've already had security agreements with Russia. Like I said yesterday, every president in Africa in the democratic regime, every except maybe the president of Ghana, but Ghana have just struck another deal. But every democratic president in Africa, right? They've been involved in one or two things that their hands are tied. And Ibrahim Traore has said these things before, that it is better for them to just come out and tell their citizens that these and these things are the things that we've done, and we are sorry. And for the sake of patriotism, please let us pick it back up. But I feel like most of these presidents cannot, they dare not tell their citizens some of the things that they've been conditioned to do by some of these colonialists. So it's now a battle between, are you going to take the side of your people, where you suffer more risk of getting killed? Basically, because if you choose to divert away from the way of the colonialists and you take side with your citizen, where being a democratic environment, there is always an opposition that is willing to capitalize on your fault. So they're in a very difficult situation, and the colonialist is telling them that we can keep all your secrets, just continue to align. So but I think that Togo has been trying to find their way back, and to me, just based on this particular collaboration with the AES too, I feel like sometimes some people get to be given a second chance. And for the people of Togo, we want to sincerely apologize for anything your president must have done. We can always move on and look at the brighter side of things. In my own opinion, I think Togo too have been working effectively to counter the scourge of terrorism. We can start uniting gradually. I've not given up hope on Togo and their president. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever the case is, there is always a way out of every situation. For just this collaboration that the Togolese have just done, I want to say a very big thank you to the Togolese government. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? So we have a fresh information that the farmers of Mali actually were ambushed in the region of Tinzantoin. This is around the tri-border region of the Timbuktu, the Ageok, Menaka, that very embattled region. And according to the information we have, the battle that the farmers had with these people was actually not really a serious battle, because the drones actually completed a very devastating job on these guys. And according to the information we have, 25 Azawadian terrorists were actually neutralized in this operation. You can see some of the pictures of these Azawadians are here. They got neutralized real quick. And, they were working in collaboration with the JNIM terrorist sect. And according to the information we have, about 28 of the JNIM terrorist group were actually neutralized in this operation. So it makes me ask this question. How do how do these people still get to continuously recruit? Even if the fate is very, very dire. Just imagine you being shot with a missile from a drone or something. The shockwave, like you don't everywhere you are, you don't even feel safe. So it's a question, it's a very, very big question of how do they, what are they giving to these guys that still make them feel like, yeah, I can pick up arms and do what? There is so much power outage in France right now that they continue to say it's as a result of heat wave and all of those things. I think President Macron should just come out as an honorable man, even though I know the reverse is the case, and just admit to the entire world that, see, come, that uranium stockpile, I think, is in danger. They were buying before, and the AES just said they are no longer selling to them. And they are no longer ready to sell uranium in particular to the West. So that means now whoever France is buying uranium from, they have to buy at a very expensive amount. You see, that's the fate of all these European countries. My own belief is that if you can dismiss all these puppet presidents some way, somehow, and you can cut Africa away from Europe, not specifically France here, if you can cut Africa, that link away from Europe, oh my goodness, situation will be seriously reversed. Because what do they have in Europe? What resources do they have in Europe? What does Europe do in particular? But you have organizations like ECOWAS that is always giving them that advantage. You have organizations like the African Union. You won't believe the African Union has a monetary budget yearly. Who are these people in African Union? That's the question. They have a monetary budget and they contribute every year, and 60% of that monetary contribution is being contributed by the European Union. So what is it that is for free in this life? And anytime they make threats to the AES, the only thing you hear from them is that they are no longer going to give aid to the AES. Nobody needs your aid again. The AES has proved at this point that development can be too fast without aid. It's now a question of, does Africa really need all this aid? You can all answer the question based on what you've seen and what you've heard. So far, so good. The AES state continue to develop without the influence of the West. It's actually disappointing for the West, and it's actually a good time to be alive and seeing the AES do what they know how to do best, developing. I want to speak about something, about the issue of Ghana, right? A lot of people actually said that what we posted about the president of Ghana was actually not true. This is Volodymyr Zelensky's post right here. A lot of people don't do research, right? And I'm not the first person to post it. I wasn't the first back then. We brought it to the public domain. And luckily for me, somebody watched our video on that day, and the person actually said that he has relatives that are closer to the government of Ghana, and he's going to forward the video to them, and he hopes that something happens. And I thank the person. I don't know if the person is watching me now, the person can attest to it. That's what we do here. We bring out what we see. I won't see that type of message or that kind of post and not talk. I don't know if you get it. I'm not a mainstream person, or I'm not paid to do what I do. I do what I do for the love of the AES. Matter of fact, I've been told by some people that how much am I being paid to be an AES agent, that I don't even live there, that I don't even speak their language, that there's no way my country is even benefiting from them. Talk less of me. I've had people offer me money. Like I'm talking about in dollars. to stop talking about the AES. I have the message. I should stop talking about the AES. They even gave me so many options. They said I do YouTube, that I can talk about the Iran-Israel war. I can talk about the Russian-Ukraine crisis. That they can see that I'm very, very good, and I can talk about other things. And it will make sense that those ones even carry more traction than what I'm talking about. That I should stop talking about, all this thing that it doesn't make sense. And they said they will be reviewing my channel, but by the time I stop talking about it, then we can talk about, remuneration and the rest. You think we do this for money? So a lot of people started saying yesterday that I'm a Western agent and I have to apologize to the president of Ghana. Nah, I don't owe anybody no apology. This thing has been debunked because we threw light on it, because we brought it out to the public domain, and people raised awareness about it. Our job is to raise awareness. We discover and uncover things, bring it to the public domain. The voice of men is the voice of God. People started speaking about these things. Now we have people coming out to debunk that nothing ever happened between the Ghanaian president and Volodymyr Zelensky. But still, this is what I will tell you. Nobody knows the conversation that took place between Volodymyr Zelensky and Dramani Mahama. Dramani Mahama never said anything about it. The only person that came out to talk about it is Volodymyr Zelensky. And this is his post. I didn't make this comment. I didn't make this up. This is Volodymyr Zelensky official Twitter handle. Official Twitter handle. Which is every day it's current, it's active. Directly from Volodymyr Zelensky himself. So I don't get where this thing is coming from. Should I expect that Volodymyr Zelensky is going to lie about the president of Ghana? Or did the conversation not take place? The details of the conversation is what we don't know. But Volodymyr Zelensky, a president of a European country, came out and said, this is what actually happened. So I should just jump out of the blue and say, oh, Volodymyr Zelensky is lying. I should bob and weave it as if the conversation never took place. What if they were successful with their program that mission to turn everybody against each other? All I will have to say is this, right? I continue to do what I do. I'm not doing this for money. I never had that objective. I'm that same person that was luckily for me, I've since I started this channel about three months ago, I've not had um I've not had a very disgusting number of views, because I stand for the truth and I've always spoken the truth from day one. You can check my history, all my videos you can check. Though I was having more views when I was giving information that I received from both the bad boy side and the good guy side. But I chose to pick a side, which is the side of the AES people, the AES civilians, the AES in diaspora and everybody. Because we actually get information from both sides. But we want to encourage people. That's why we bring out positive information. We do have negative information that we choose to personally censor for the sanity of the public. So I picked the side, and that is what I have done unapologetically. So if there is a risk being posed by any country in Africa against the AES, I will unapologetically talk about it. And I will raise the awareness beyond anybody's imagination. I don't only function on this platform, I function on so many other platforms. And I choose to make my identity anonymous because I've equally gotten threats too. So, and I stay in a country where, your life is not, the security level in this country is you and God and, your self defense. That is if you don't even get arrested after the self defense. So, um, I'm doing what I do for the sake of humanity and for the sake of the progress of the collective African people, not for some, bunch somewhere. So if you don't feel good about what we do on this platform, please, I really, really am so sorry, but you can take your leave, okay? We don't really do this for everybody. We only do this for the people that want to see Africa develop and want to see it grow. Like I said, If any country pose a threat to the AES, I will talk about it unapologetically. I don't mind being, I don't mind anything happening to me. I don't, you know. Um I really don't plan to have too much in life. I don't plan to have too much followers. I never even knew we'll get to 15,000 followers. It's like a miracle to me, but I just continue to give out the information I give. I never plan to have big money. You can see that my posts come once a day. I'm not really looking after the view. I'm just after, okay, I put the information out there. I'm able to talk to, a fewer amount of people, and thankfully I get to interact with some of the audience on this platform, some of our day ones too. So this is my stand, but let's just believe that nothing of such happened. And again, I will say this: I owe no official any apology. As long as anything stands to be a threat to the AES, I'm going to bring it out to the public domain. I don't have any favorite side. I don't have any country as my favorite. Nobody is untouchable. If any country move mad, we'll come for them. This is Africa. The rules are different. And this is not your regular mainstream media. So if I didn't give you the services of the regular mainstream media, I'm actually sorry. Thank you guys. Much respect.